This is Gemara Baba Basra Daf Nun Ches. We're holding on the top line of Nun Ches Amar Aleph. We're in the middle of discussing different Hanahagais of Talmidei Chachamim versus Amaratzim. Says the Gemara on the top line, Mita Shal Talmidei Chachamim Keitzad Kol Shein Tachtel Elo Sandalin. What is the bed of a Talmid Chacham? That the only thing underneath the bed is his hard leather shoes, and his soft leather shoes, Namaretz is similar to a jumbled storeroom. Everything is just stuffed underneath the bed. From here, we continue the two dots. Continues Rav Bina with the story. Rav Bina havika mitzayin marata. Rav Bina would mark off the graves. Kimatla marata to Avram. When he reached the marata, the grave, the cave of Avram Avinu, and he wanted to mark it off, Ashchel Eliezer Eved Avram Koikami Baba. He found Eliezer and Avram standing at the entrance to the Ma'ara. Amar lei Micah Ovid Avram. He said, "What is Avram doing?" Amar lei Gani Bekanfe Dishara. He is lying in the arms of Sarah. And she, Sarah Imenu, is looking at Avram Avinu's head. Amar lei said Rabbina Tel Eliezer Zilei Malei. Bina Kaya Bava. Tell them Bina is here. Amar lei Leil made Leil. So said Eliezer. Excuse me. Avram Avinu announces, let him enter. Made the Yediyah. It's clear that there's no Yitzhahara in this world. Of course, Avram Avinu and Sari Menu were already Nefteres and even the next world. And therefore, there was no such issue that to see Avram and Sarah at some level embracing and hugging, there was no problem of immodesty because in the next world, there's no such thing as Yitzhahara. So Ayel, Rabbina entered, Ayin Vinafak. He went and he surveyed the Ma'ara and he left. And that's how he knew. He marked off the dimensions of the Ma'ara of Avram Avinu. You've looked at the Mos of my image, at the form of Yaakov Avinu, Atzma al tistakel, B'diuk Atzna al tistakel. Don't look at the image of myself, meaning don't look at Adam Arishan. Ask the Gemara, Abina L'Tziyuni Me'arta. I don't understand. Said Rabbina, I'm not coming to look at anything wrong. I just want to mark over the Ma'ara is. Says the Gemara, Kimidas Achitzayna, Kamidas Apenimis. The other dimensions are the same as the inner dimensions. Therefore, you don't have to enter into the Ma'ara of Adam Arishan. According to Manda Amar, that of course, where's Adam Rishon and where's Avram Avinu buried? Maris HaMachpelah. According to Manda Amar, it was a room within a room. Kimidas Al Yaina, the upper room is Kachmidas Tachtaina. Therefore, he's able to mark it off even without entering. Amar Rabbeinu nistakalti b'shnei akevav. I looked at the two heels of Adam from the outside, v'daim l'shnei galgulei chama, and they're like two orbs of the sun. That Adam Arishain's skin was shining. Hakol bifnei Sarah. The radiance of anyone in comparison to that of Sarah Imenu is kikof bifnei Adam. It's like a monkey compared to a human. Sarah bifnei Chava, Sarah compared to Chava is kikof bifnei Adam. Chava bifnei Adam, kikof bifnei Adam. Adam bifnei Ashchina, kikof bifnei Adam. So we see the comparisons. We see how far we are. That any person compared to any of these is like a monkey to a human, which is light and day, absolutely no shaykhs, and all the way up, that even though Adam Arishain's akeva, whatever that means, his heels were radiant, like two orbs of the sun, that's like a monkey comparison to HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself. Continues the Gemara 10 lines down, Shofar Derav Kahana, main Shofar Derav, Shofar Derav, main Shofar Derav Avua. The beauty of Rav Kahana was similar to Rav. The beauty of Rav was only a semblance, so it was a main, who is something of Rav Avua. Shofar Rav Avua was main Shofar Yaakov Avinu. Shofar Yaakov Avinu, main Shofar Adam Arishain. And that's the comparisons in beauty, one to the next. Continues the Gemara. Hu am Gusha. Sorry, I didn't realize you can't see the words on the page. There was an Amgusha magician, Tavichotit, Shechvei. There was a magician who would dig up corpses and take away their clothing. Kimata Amarata, Rav Tuvi Bar Masna, when he came to the Marara, the crypt, the grave of Rav Tuvi Bar Masna, and he wanted to take away his clothing, Tavsa B'diyiknei. The corpse grabbed his beard and wouldn't let go. Asa Abaye Amar Le. Abaye said to Rav Tuvia's corpse, Bimatusa Minach Shavke. I beg you, let go of this magician. Lashana Achriti, the next year, the magician came again. One more time, the corpse, Rav Tuvia grabbed onto his beard. Asa Abaye, Lo Shavke. Said Abaye, let go. Wouldn't let go. Ad until Ta'isei Misifra Vigazia Ladiukna, until Abai bought a pair of scissors and cut off the beard of this magician. Incredible stories how the Sadiqim, even B'misasan, have such incredible powers. Continues the Gemara back to Rav Ben Ahud. There was someone that sold a child on his deathbed. A keg of earth goes to one son. Chavita de Gormi lechad bra. Whereas a keg of bones to the other son. Chavita de Udra, and a keg of katin lechadbra. Love yadei my kamer. And the people, the children didn't understand what exactly their father was saying to them. So asal kamei Rabbina, they came to Rabbina. Amar loho islachara. So Rabbina said, "Did you have land left by your father?" Amar lein, yes. Ischa chiyuta. Do you have animals? Islacha chiyuta. Amar lein. Islacha bisartiki. Do you have quilts? Do you have cotton left over by your father? So said Rabbina, that's your father's meaning. That the earth is the karka, the bones is the animals, and the cotton is the quilts, is the linens. Continues the Gemara, another story with Rabbina who gavra tishama l'dvisu. There was someone, the sham l'dvisu t'ka'amr lebrate, heard his wife telling her daughter, "Amai lo sinias bi'isura." Why are you not sneas? When you do isurim, when you're mizaneh, his wife said to her daughter, "Why are you not sneas?" Ach, itzra asar b'ni. This woman, she talked about herself, had 10 children. Asar b'ni isla, v'lesli me'avoch elachad. And she said, only one of them is from your father. So she said that even though she was mizana, she told her daughter, but still no one knew about it. Kishachiv, when the father was dying, Amar Lahu, he told his family, called Nechasi Lechad Bra, all my possessions are to one child. Lo Yad Elehemi Nayu, but no one knew which of the 10 kids the father wanted to give the possessions to. Ask with Rabbina, Amar Lahu, said Rabbina, Zilu Chavoitai Kivra Davuchan. Go and bang in the grave of your father Adekai until your father appears. To which child your father wanted to leave the estate? Azakulu, all the kids went. The one who's actually his son is the only one that didn't go. Why? He didn't want to bang on the grave of his father. He was the only real child. Amar lo. So said Ravina, kulu nechsei dehai. Everything goes to this child who didn't want to go bang in the grave. So the brothers were quite upset, and they went and they were meiser. They informed on this son to the government. Amri, they said, there's a guy amongst the Jews come out. He's taking away money without witnesses. Again, excuse me. They went to inform on Rav Bina, because Rav Bina was one that paskin that it all goes to that son. Sadi. Midi. He's taking away things without witnesses, without any other proof. They came chavshua and they imprisoned Rav Bina. So how are you going to get Rav Bina out of jail? Azla debisu. So Rav Bina's wife comes in front of the king, Amrlo, and she tells them, Avda Chad Havali. I had a slave, Pasku L'Reishay, and the robbers cut off his head. Pashtu L'Mishcha, took away his clothing. Va'achla Bisrei, and ate his flesh. Kamalu Be'maya, and they would draw water with the hides they made out of the slave's body. Umashka Be'lechavre, and give the water to the others to drink. V'lo kayav li dame, and they didn't pay me. V'lo yagre, nor do they give its rental. So Rabina's wife said this interesting thing about a slave that they killed and they took away the hide and they're giving water. So the king's people had no clue what she was talking about. Lo yada, Mike Amrlahu. They had no clue what she was talking about. So Amri, they said, Naisu lechakima diudai. Come, let's bring one of the wise Jews, Rav Bina, Valema, and we'll tell Rav Bina the meaning of what this woman says. So Rav Bina was in jail, but they brought him out of jail. Karu Rav Bina, Amr lahu. Rav Bina said, Zarnuka Amru lahu. She spoke to you about a skin bottle. She meant that it was an animal, a goat, was stolen, slaughtered, skinned, eaten, and the hide was made into a bottle. And the robbers didn't even pay for the value of the skin. Amri, they said, wow, hi, this Ravina, he's sitting in jail, but he's so smart. They promoted him immediately to be a judge. Rabina saw was written on the door of the entrances in the palaces, called Ayin de Mitkiri Ladin, any judge who summoned to court, La Yishmei Dayan, cannot be called a judge. Why? Because in the courts of the king, all the judges were suspect for taking bribes, for stealing, etc., etc. And that's why they wrote that if anyone has any amount of wealth, that the judges are suspected of bribery and whatnot. So says Rabina, so Rabina said to the other judges of the king, El Me'ata, Asi Inish Me'alma. They said, I understand. What's going to happen if someone comes and Umazmin? So we turn over to Nun Chesim Beis, who says Rabina to other king's officers. After he realizes what is written, that all the judges are suspect of taking bribery. So he said, says Rabina, someone's going to come off the street, Umazmin, and he's going to claim that the judges didn't, Ladina, that the judges didn't paskin correctly, pasle, and then that judge is going to become pasul, even if we don't find that the claim is true. So rather, says Rabina, let's write something else on the walls of the courthouse. Called Dayan the Mitkri Ladin, any judge that's called for a court to the court, Umafkon Minei Mimayna Bidin, and money is taken away from him, then Lav Shmei Dayan, meaning Rabina changed it. It's not automatically any claim against him makes the Dayan no good, because maybe there is someone that is good. But rather, if the Dayan is called and loses, then he's no longer considered a judge. So, Kasu Achi. So listen to Rabbinan, they wrote that. However, the wise elder of the Indian said, Lav Shmei Dayan is not called a Dayan. So they quoted Rabbinan and they changed the inscription on the gates of the courthouse. Chaza, furthermore, Rabbinan sees the Kasei Beresh called Musa Anodam. At the head of all death, I am blood. Beresh Kol Chayon. Dead of all life, and a chamare and wine. Said Ravina, 1 second. Al meyata, denafal may grow mace. If someone falls off from a roof and dies, do denafal may take low mace. Someone falls from a tree and dies. Damam, katle. Has there been blood that killed him? V'su min darke lemimas. People die. What do you want, said Rabina? Mashklu chamra v'chaye. Do you want to give him wine and make him back alive? Meaning, the blood doesn't mean that caused the death, and the wine doesn't bring it back to life. So Rabina said his inscription is off. It's not true. People die, and not necessarily does wine bring them back to life. Elahachi ba'ile michtavs. Rather, says Rabina, I'll tell you, you want to have an inscription on the courthouse? This is what you should write. Bereish kol amarin. Anadam, at the end of all illness, end of all sickness is blood. Bereish kol asvasan, anachamar. At the end of all cures, I am wine. So kasu achi, the judges agreed and they wrote that. Sabi Yudai Amri. And again, they added on that the wise elder of the Yidden says, Bereish kol marin, head of all illnesses, anadam, Rosh kol ason, anachamar. Ba'atar, to less chamar, in a place where there's no wine, tamon mitri samonim. There are herbs that could heal a person. And finally, ksev apischa de kaputkia. At the entrance of Kaputkia, it was written that what? Anpik, Angav, Until. Those are the three words that are written. And these are three units of measurements that are really all the same. The Ezeu, Until, Zeu, Ravi Shal Taira, says the Gemara, what is this measurement? This is what we refer to as a Revius. We continue with the Mishnah towards the bottom of the Chesed Beis, which picks up from the previous Mishnah, which items can yes make a chazaka, which items cannot. So says the Mishnah, Hamarzev, one who makes a spout for the drain, Ein loy chazaka, v'yishlam k'mei chazaka, but the place has chazaka, Hamazlicha gutter, yesh chazaka. Sulam, a ladder, Dimitri, if it's an Egyptian ladder, Ein la chazaka. Ulitzuri, but a ladder from Sur, Yesh la chazaka. Chaloina mitres, a Egyptian window in la chazaka. Litzuris, from place of Tzuris, Yesh la chazaka. Ezel chaloin dimitris, kol she'ein roish shel adam yachal likanis l'taychai, that a person's head cannot fit through it. Rav Yehuda Imer im yesh la malabein, says Rav Yehuda, if it has a frame, a malbein, avol bi she'ein roish shel adam yachal likanis l'taycha, by putting in such a window, harei zu chazaka, would yes suffice as a chazaka. So let's just begin the Gemara. It says the Gemara, Maya Marziv. What does it mean that a marziv, a drain spout, in the chazaka? How can you split that? If there's no chazaka, there's no chazaka. So Amar Rav Yehuda, Amar Shmuel, Achi Kamar. Ha marziv in the chazaka, miruach achas. A marziv does not have a chazaka. Miruach achas. That's on one side. But the place has a chazaka on either side, meaning he's able to move the drain spout to the other side of the gutter if he wants. A second that what? That if it was long, the neighbor is allowed to cut it down. You don't have a chazaka based on the drain spout you put on. But the neighbor can't stop you from putting the drain spout there. A third shot in the marzev. That watch if the other person wants to build underneath it, he's allowed. You're not able to get rid of the drain spout. Pick it up from Daf Nun Tes the next year. B'siyata Dishmaya.